Hello everyone. Today I am here with the video about the importance of writing down your ideas. In a different video I recently made, I talked about how I used to write down ideas in different notebooks, like in my journal, but sometimes I would forget about those ideas. As soon as I started using a different journal, the ideas I wrote down in the old journal would be stored away, and I rarely looked back at them. So something I have started to do is to look back through my journals, and I'm using some little marking flags to keep track of the ideas that I might have come up with that didn't get materialized. So in order to help me with that, when I started using my creativity journal, I made a page dedicated to no ideas. So here we are. Anytime I got any idea about anything, whether it was to create a workbook, to look into something, to do something different, I would write it down. And I started keeping track of ideas this way. I remember also reading a book somewhere. I feel like the author is James Altucher, and I don't remember the name of the book, but he had his suggestion of writing down your ideas writing down 10 ideas every day. Even if they were sucky ideas, he would say, just write them down, whatever comes to mind, just do it. So I started every month. I wouldn't do it daily, like 10 ideas per day, but I started small, and at least I was doing a few ideas per month. And I started to notice that the more I was paying attention to my ideas and making space for them in my life, I started to get more and more ideas. So my number one suggestion to get more ideas is that when an idea pops into your head, immediately write it down. My second suggestion would be that you have a dedicated notebook where you keep those ideas so that you don't lose track of them. And my third suggestion would be that you refer back to those ideas often, and that you check them off when you have already started to implement them, like I did, not in this one, but in the other one I just showed. So here I had an idea. It says lots of ideas coming through for my online community. This is when I was doing the creating with the moon exploration. So I have the moon cards, which I made, moon in the tarot. We explored that. I had the circular moon calendar from April, but this was an idea to use it as a planner for work. Learning the harvest cycle, using the Book of Houses. And then I also wanted to start brainstorming journaling materials. Let's see. At some point I started making the ideas page a whole page. So here I have other ideas. Add a monthly creative practice for the Mighty Networks. Integrate the hard creative practice. This is an idea that really took me by surprise. So I made this collage, and it was around the time I was taking a class with Megan Watterson about Mary Magdalene. And after creating this, I got the idea for a creative practice that I could teach or share with people. And then the opportunity presented itself to share it in a community that I'm part of with April of The Moon is My Calendar. So that's how that idea was born, not even from text, but from hands-on art and creative practice. So many of the ideas that I come up with in a month, I would check back with them often to make sure that I was doing them. And if there was one that maybe couldn't be done right now, I could move it to the next month. So here are some more ideas. I have add the 4 directions to my creativity journal, add a place for questions, create 78 questions for each tarot card, Let's see, do an imagination challenge. This is when the imagination challenge idea came to me in April. So let's see. At some point I gave this part of the journal a whole page because it must have been a month when I had a lot of ideas. So this is one way where I started to become really consistent with keeping track of my ideas. And I just was watching a video by the Better Half blog about executing those ideas or implementing them. So that's something that I want to try out. Some of my ideas are pretty easy to implement right away. So I didn't need like a process to get them done. But some of the bigger ideas that we might get that actually need like a breakdown of goals, it might be a good idea to follow her process, which I thought was really interesting. So I'll link her video below. So yeah, the more you, okay, so looks like in August is when I decided to give myself a whole page to jot down ideas. And so to summarize, value your ideas. No matter how crazy the idea that you get is, write it down. So get into the habit of writing down the ideas. Look back through the ideas often to see if there's anything that feels like it's the right time for. Sometimes we get ideas and they feel crazy because it's not the right time for them. But if we let them germinate and we tend to them, then the conditions for them might be right. And actually, this conversation about ideas is reminding me of the Book of Houses and how the seeds and the intentions that we are planting each new moon and also each time you're in your 11th house of your birth chart, they are also ideas. Everything starts with an idea. And there's so much more I could share about ideas and imagination. But I think for today, this is good enough. And if you're curious about things like this, just let me know. And I would love to share more about my views and my experience with you. Let me know how you keep track of your ideas, or if you feel that you never come up with any ideas. And I bet that you do, but you just don't notice them, or maybe you don't value them. So start by writing them down, even if it's just one idea, and start to build that muscle that will make ideas know that they're welcomed in your mind. And then the next step is to make sure that you do something with those ideas before they leave and go find a different home. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you on the next video.